Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you guys 6 methods to make lace effect or lace texture on polymer clay. In this method we use one of these plastic embossing folders with lace pattern. There are many patterns available online, but I got mine from AliExpress. I will link them down in the description box. First of all, I use some cornstarch on my clay so that the clay does not stick to the plastic. Then I place the side with deeper texture on my clay and use a rolling pin or a cake smoother to push the texture onto my clay. Then I carefully remove the plastic to reveal the lace texture. Now we can cut it just like that for a simple white lace look, or you can use mica powder, dry pastels, or even an eyeshadow to jazz it up a little bit. I use this beautiful light green mica powder and a soft brush to distribute it on my clay. Then I fold a wet wipe to kinda like a finger size so that I have more control over the process. Then I start wiping the texture slowly. This way the lace part will reveal itself and we end up with white lace on a shiny background. I also did this method on navy color clay so you can see the effect on a dark color as well. I added gold mica powder for this design and wipe it with a wet wipe just like before. In this method I'm going to use a silicone mold with a lace pattern to create the lace effect. First I place the mold on the clay, then I put a baking sheet on top of it so that my rolling pin doesn't move the silicone. Then I push the pattern onto my clay with my rolling pin. Once again, I use my beloved wiping technique to color the background in this beautiful pale gold color. You can also see here that I did another similar one with silver powder, which gave a beautiful shiny effect to my piece. In this method, we use the same lace mold, but this time with liquid clay. So for this, I use a Fima translucent liquid clay. You can also use colored ones. There are many colors available for liquid clays with many brands. I divided my clay into 2 parts. I want to add a color to the clay using both mica powder and alcohol ink and see the difference. To have a fair comparison, I used color gold from both of them. For the first part, I add this gold alcohol ink. The result is not as deep as I want it to be, so I add 2 more drops. Well, it didn't make much difference, but we will use it anyway. It might change color after the baking process. So for the second part, I add gold mica powder and mix the clay with the powder. I ended up with this beautiful golden color. So I pick up the clay using painting spatulas and place it into my mold. After placing it all, I use my blade to remove any extra clay from the top. This is a very important step. You should put time to do it properly, otherwise your final result will be so messy. I did the same thing for the other color. Now I will bake the clay as instructed on my liquid clay packaging in the oven. Okay, now the clay baked and I want to take it out of the mold carefully and without damaging the lace. Well, the gold one, which I mixed with mica powder, turned out beautifully, but the other one with alcohol ink looks like a cheap plastic. I don't know if the amount of paint was insufficient or what was the problem, but anyways, I cut the gold one and placed it on this beautiful, very dark green color. I use a cutter and I make sure to put enough pressure to cut both the clay and the lace. I put the plasticky one on this pale yellow color and cut this one as well. For this method, I invite you to be super creative. I found this decorative mat in Euroshop, which is equivalent to dollar store in the US. You can just find a ton of items with interesting textures in dollar stores or Euroshops that are cheap but make the most fascinating results. I place the mat on my clay and use a rolling pin to push the texture onto my clay. With this one, you can either do the same wiping technique like the first method, or you can use it like stencils and place the mica powder on top of the mat. I did the latter and I love how it turned out. In this method, we use nail foils with lace pattern and transfer the pattern onto the clay. I use the ones that I had, which are not as lacy as I wish, but there are many lacy designs online and I will put some of them in the description box. For this method, I cut a piece that I want to transfer to my clay and I place it on top. Then I use my rolling pin, my blade and whatever I have around to make sure that the foil is sticking to my clay properly and the pattern is transferring to my clay. After that, please pay attention because this part is super important. I grab the tip of the foil and rip it off like band-aid as fast as I can. If you check it little by little and slowly, absolutely nothing will transfer to your clay. No matter how much you push the foil onto the clay, nothing will transfer. So this is very important that you just rip it off as fast as you can. I also used the gold one so you can see the results. I also had a beige one and I used craft scissors to create these lacy look edges and transfer it to create a half lace design. In this method, we are using one of these plasticky texture mats. I bought a pack of 6 for €4 from AliExpress, but you can also buy them from Amazon. I will link them in the description box as well. I press them into the clay using my rolling pin and transfer the texture onto my clay. By the way, if it sticks to your clay, just use a little bit of cornstarch to solve the problem. This time I use purple mica powder and wiping method to have a lace effect. So now all my designs are ready to be baked, so I see you in a bit. Now you can see the final results, and here are the pieces that are made using nail foil technique. For this half lace design, I wished I had used a pure white clay so that the lace color be more in contrast with the clay. This one is the result of a decorative mat technique, which is so unique and shiny, and I love it. And the purple one is the result of texture mat technique, and I put some Fimo varnish on top. These two are the ones from using the silicone mold texture. And these ones are the result of plastic embossing folder effect. I decided to wipe off the green and gold powder from the top after the bake, so I used a Q-tip with a little bit of acetone to clean the powder from the top. And this one I used the same technique, but I left it all lace. And at last, these two are the result of liquid clay technique with lace mold. So I hope you liked this tutorial and found it useful. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next tutorials. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of the day.